UFC Austin. This is the weigh-in recap show, full card predictions, and the betting breakdown. Main event, we have Dariush versus Arman Tsarukyan, and I'm looking forward to talking about each of the matchups on this card after seeing the fighters on the scales. So make sure you guys smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Turn the post notifications on and make sure to share the video as well. And also note, I will be live for the entire UFC Austin fight card Saturday, 4 p.m. Eastern time. Don't miss the fight, companion. And let's get into the fights. Starting the card off, we have Jamey-Lyn Horth versus Veronica Hardy. All week, I've been picking Jamey-Lyn Horth to get the win in this fight here. I was excited to see the scales to really compare the size difference between these two ladies, which 5'7" to 5'4", favoring Jamey-Lyn Horth. Seems like a fair size differential, but we see it sometimes. When the fighters actually face off, the statistics of the heights aren't always accurate. This one, though, you'll see in a second, it is. We'll bring up the scales and check these ladies out. I anticipate that Jamey-Lyn Horth can outmuscle Veronica Hardy and outwork her on the inside. There's Horth on the official scales, and then we got Veronica Hardy on the official scales. I mean, she looks cute in this. You know, I won't lie to you about that, but it don't matter because this is a fight. And Jamey-Lyn Horth is a badass. She's got the nose ring in. She's staring her down with a big height advantage. And honestly, from this angle, you can't see Jamey-Lyn Horth's back thickness. If you see it from the official UFC ceremonial weigh-ins and you see the width of the back and the thickness of it, you'll get what I'm saying. When they tie up in the clinch, I feel like Horth's strength advantage is going to be substantial. And I think Jamey-Lyn Horth is going to outwork Hardy over the 3 rounds. I'm going Jamey-Lyn Horth to get the win in this fight here. Now, as far as the betting odds for the fight, we're looking at Jamey-Lyn minus 192. So she's a fair size favorite. Veronica Hardy plus 167. I like Jamey-Lyn to win. Over 2.5 should hit at minus 280 as well. And then let's see, Horth by a decision is plus 150. I think we got a pretty good chance of Jamey-Lyn Horth getting this fight on the judges' scorecards. I think she can outwork Hardy, even though Hardy came back with an upset win here over Juliana Miller. Granted, she didn't finish her, but you know what? Fine. It was a good performance. I still remember her losing to Bia Malecki, who was just 1-0 at the time. Jamey-Lyn Horth can get this W. I know Hardy's made some improvements, obviously training with her husband now, Dan Hardy. Nonetheless, I think Horth is just too much for her. I'm going with the tough Canadian, size advantage, strength advantage, and I think just a better fighter here. We're going with Horth by decision. Next fight on the card, we got Wellington Turman versus Jared Gooden. I've been picking Wellington Turman to win throughout the week. I think he could outwork Gooden, specifically when we tie up and get this fight to the ground. Grappling is really going to be where Turman shines. I just don't think he's a dead man in the kickboxing either. Obviously training alongside Alex Pereira and Glover Teixeira. He has good MMA minds around him. And I think it is rounding out his game at 27 and now dropping to 170. It's better for his career. Gooden has 1 UFC win. Carlston Harris recently beat him. And then Wellington Turman last time out lost to Randy Brown. I feel like Turman's jiu-jitsu on the ground is live. His kicking skill set will be there. And Gooden, he's got decent hands and he does have a really long reach of 77 inches, but he doesn't have this great jab from the outside. So I'm not overly concerned about that reach advantage because I do think Turman's going to be able to close the gap on Gooden. Can he get the finish? I think submission's live for Wellington. I'm picking Wellington here. Gooden, he needed the box to make weight here, but nonetheless did make weight. And we got Wellington Turman on weight, on point for the second UFC welterweight appearance. And then we keep scrolling down. The ceremonials, I mean, you can see they both rehydrated nicely. They look good. But as far as the face-off goes, nose to nose, right? Similar heights between the two. The scales ain't telling much of the story. One thing to note, Jared Gooden denied Wellington Turman's handshake attempt. I think that's just more fire for Wellington, who's developing that stone cold look like Alex Pereira. I'm picking Wellington Turman. I think he's live for submission. I could see him getting a finish in this fight, and could also be a decision win for him. I feel like he's ready for 3. Minus 190 for Wellington Turman with Gooden at plus 165 as the underdog. I'm going favorite. I think we're probably going under 2.5 at plus 125. And then Turman by a submission plus 225. I think it's live in this fight. Nonetheless, both guys with losing records in the UFC, 3-5 for Wellington Turman and 1-4 for Jared Gooden. So nobody's jumping off the page as like the next great contender. But I think Turman's gotten a bit better. And not that Gooden hasn't either. It's just I think Turman could win it. So I'm picking Turman to win. Not my favorite pick of the night, but I feel like he's going to end up getting it done here. Next fight on the card, we have Ihor Potieria versus Rodolfo Bellato. I'm picking Rodolfo Bellato to win this fight. I really think he can outwork Potieria on the ground for sure, but I also could see him stinging Potieria up on the feet, especially a Potieria who I feel like is going to be willing to throw down. Looking at the scales, both guys at 205, like you're expecting them on weight, on point. Potieria with the new chest tattoo, the crucifix here. Pretty sick tat. Got to give credit to the ink. Then Bellato looking pretty typical here, as he normally does. It looks less Crimson Chin-like, actually, at the official weigh-ins. These are the ceremonial scales. Bellato rehydrate. He do got like a thick-ass neck, though. Freaky neck. And especially with this flex over here. Look at he's taking a shit. Then we got the face-off between these two. I think Bellato is going to beat Potieria. I won't lie to you. Poteria's got a cool haircut. I feel like with the new tattoo, we might be a bit better, but I'm still calling Bellato by sub. I feel like when they go to the ground, he'll shine in the feet. On the feet, I should say, he can have success, especially with Potieria, who I think is willing to throw hard shots with him and mix it up. I'm going Bellato to win this thing. I feel like he pulls it off. I'm saying he gets it done by submission. It could be a club and sub. I think he could hurt Potieria. Odds are minus 425 for Bellato, so very wide, to plus 325 Potieria. Bellato to win by a submission, the official call, is sitting at plus 300. Interesting that knockouts plus 100. So books seem like they think knockouts more likely, but I think the sub is live. Bellato's got good jiu-jitsu. Yeah, picking Rodolfo Bellato to win this fight, guys. I think he gets it done. Bellato for the W post weigh-in. Next fight on the card, we got Joe Solecki versus Drakkar Klose. Throughout the week, I've been picking Joe Solecki. I think he can get Drakkar Klose down, and the ultimate difference maker in this fight is going to be the grappling. And I think that's where Joe Solecki is going to thrive. Drakkar Klose does have decent hands, but I don't feel like he has crazy knockout power where he can, put Joe Solecki to bed here. Like he could catch him with a wide shot, but it's not like he's this crisp technician with boxing that has these great setups. I think he'd thrive more so in a brawl on the feet, but I feel like Solecki's just going to be looking to get it to the floor. So I'm picking Solecki to get this thing, and I'm going to actually say Solecki by sub. I've been calling that throughout the week. There's Solecki on weight, in shape, and then there's Drakkar Klose. I mean, looks like Drakkar does. Then we got the actual ceremonials with the face-off. Guys rehydrated, looking about the same. Drakkar Klose's hand was real close to Solecki, and he was talking some shit too to him. Look at the physiques, though. One thing I'll say is this right here, physique of Joe Solecki, that's a grappler's physique. Strong muscle tone, right? Good grip strength, power on the inside. I think that's going to lead him to getting this fight to the floor and finding success. Solecki has got very good back control, and I think he can use that to win this fight. So I'm going to go Joe Solecki. I think he's live for a submission. He's also 5 years younger than Drakkar Klose, who's 35. Yeah, I'm going Solecki for the W, man. I think he can beat Drakkar. Odds for the fight, Solecki plus 105 as an underdog. Drakkar Klose minus 125 is the favorite. Give me Klose for the win. Excuse me, give me Solecki for the win, not Klose for the win. Don't listen to that fumble. Solecki by sub, plus 275. There's no superstition on that fumble. That was just a fumble of words because I was reading the lines off. Solecki is plus 275 by sub. he's a money line underdog. So money line's the A side. If you're looking for a prop, I think submission is live. But Solecki could control in the grappling and get it done on the judges' scorecards. But I do think he's got a real chance to get it on the neck of Drakkar Klose and rear naked choke him. So Solecki for the W in this fight. Next fight on the card, we got Cody Brundage versus Zach Reese. I've been picking Zach Reese throughout the week, and I've said I think this is like a bit of a setup fight where we have the Texas native at home against Cody Brundage, who's had, 3 of his last 4 losses, with one of those wins, the most recent fight being a disqualification against Jacob Malhoun when he was getting pounded out on the ground. Brundage has a good overhand and he has wrestling, but he just consistently fumbles. I can't pick him here. I think Reese can out kickbox Brundage, and if they go to the floor, I think Reese's jiu-jitsu is going to shine. He's got good length as well, long legs and arms, 6'4", 77-inch reach, 4 inches taller, 5 inches longer. I think that's a big factor. So I'm going Reese to win this thing. Going with the Texas native, man, the Lone Star State's own. There's Cody Brundage, and there is Reese on the scale. Both guys in shape. There's nothing crazy to expect from the scales. We got the earrings in Brundage. Kind of looking like he's straight out of New York with that look, man. Bringing the style to the game. And then we just got a simple backwards hat for Zach Reese. He looks intense, bro. He's in very good shape. He looks confident. I feel like if we look at the battle of body language, Brundage is slightly backed up, whereas Reese directly staring him down. He won the face-offs for sure. This was one of those face-offs where there is a clear winner. And I think when they get in the fight, Reese is going to get him too. Reese by submission. I say he's getting the finish. As far as the odds for this fight, Reese is a -230 favorite in a spot that he's supposed to win. And Cody Brundage is a +195 underdog. Under 1.5 is at -205. I do think there's a good chance this fight's 1 round. Reese probably catches him. I think he could catch him with a punch, but I think Brundage engaging in the grappling is live to get caught. Reese to win by submission is +200. I do think it happens here. Now, some things to note about Reese if you're considering betting his side. I want to bring these, slight warnings up for some of the people throwing heavy cash down. Zach Reese is unproven in the UFC. This is his debut. He beat Aronov last time out, who was 6-0. On paper, he looked good, but ultimately, we don't know the level for sure. He's a Texas native. The narrative that they're writing is Texas native gets a win at home. Cody Brundage is being used as an opponent here, but nonetheless, he hurt Rodolfo Vieira in their fight. He does have wins in the UFC. He's got power. He knocked out Tresean Gore, but I'm going to say Zach Reese's jiu-jitsu ultimate difference maker should win him the fight. Still a debuting guy, and we're going to find out a ton after this Saturday about him heading forward with potential bets on him and picks. Next fight on the card. The ladies going after it in our featured prelim of the night. We got Miesha Tate versus Julia Avila. I'm picking Miesha Tate to out-wrestle her for 3 rounds. I'm seeing her getting it done on the judges' scorecards. I'm going with Miesha for the win. I think she can get this thing in. Let's check these scales out. There is Julia Avila, who looks like the scary lady from 101 Dalmatians with this strip of gray in her hair. I don't know if that was a stylish move. I disagree. I disagree with that look. Kind of scary, kind of Halloween-like. But, I like the effort she's putting into the sexualized poses here. She's trying to win back the fan base after some time off, and she recognizes, hey, I'm fighting Miesha Tate. I don't know if there's an OnlyFans. Maybe some of you do know, or maybe that's in the works. Then we got Miesha Tate looking all business, on weight, never missed weight in her whole MMA career. And the classic bicep flex and the kiss of the bicep. You got to go Miesha Tate for the win here. There's Avila. There's Tate. Even though, it seems like Avila's the prospect in this fight, she's 2 years younger. She's not much younger. And then Avila obviously joking around like she's shooting a takedown here because she knows Miesha Tate is going to make it, a bit of a grappling heavy scrap. I think Miesha Tate gets it done. Avila hasn't fought in almost 2.5 years. Tate's been out for almost 1.5 years. I'm going with the legendary run. I'm going with Miesha Tate's wrestling. Sajura Eubanks out-grappled and outworked Avila. And Avila's 2-1 in the UFC. Not a lot of fights. And I'm going to say that Miesha Tate gets it done. Tate is an underdog, too, at plus 121, plus 119 now, around that range. Julia Avila, minus 139. I like Tate to win. Over 2.5 at minus 245. And then let's see. Tate to win via decision, plus 190 for Miesha Tate by decision. I think she's getting it done on the cards. I think she's going to get takedowns. Maybe early on, Avila throws hard at her, but then Tate's finding wrestling success. Her stand-up's gotten a bit better over the years. I think Miesha Tate can find a way to win this fight by decision. So Tate as an underdog to close out the prelims. Next fight on the card starts off our main card. If you guys haven't yet, make sure you smash that like button. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. It's Punahele Soriano versus Dustin Stoltzfus. This is a very confident pick for me. I'm going out and saying it. If Soriano loses this fight, like this is it. This is the done UFC run. I think he should knock Stoltzfus out. I don't think Stoltzfus can touch him up in the kickboxing. The hands of Soriano, way better. More power with Soriano. Wrestling advantage. This should be one-way traffic. This, for me, was one of my most confident picks on the cards. And, you know, it's not technically the lock of the week, but I see Soriano winning as a real high-confidence pick. Like, it should happen. It could be considered a lock. If it doesn't happen, I'll be very surprised. There's Stoltzfus. Looks okay. Ready to go, like he does, like Stoltzfus does. There's Soriano with the flex, showing his width. I think that shows his power, his punching power. Stoltzfus and him, both filled out, both guys in shape. Then there's the face-off. Soriano's going to be the better boxer and the better wrestler. So I don't see Stoltzfus finding a sub on him, and I don't think he can knock out Soriano. So I'm going Soriano via KO. I think he's going to sleep Stoltzfus. Looking at the betting odds, Soriano swelled to a pretty large favorite at minus 343, where it opened at minus 325, but it was lower earlier on, like throughout the week. Like we're looking at 255. We're looking at closer lines, 270. Now, holy shit. Now we got wide line city. I think Soriano's getting it done. Does it go under 1.5? That's at plus 123. Under 2.5 is better, minus 175. Soriano's power is going to get him a knockout. That's minus 115, so even that line sucks. But I do think it's going to happen. I think Soriano's hands are going to be on display. I think he's going to punch Stoltzfus pretty hard in the face. And I think he's going to put him to sleep. So we're going Punahele Soriano, Extreme Couture Zone to get the win by knockout over Dustin Stoltzfus, who I think is outmatched. Next fight on the card, we got Guida versus Joaquim Silva. I've been picking Joaquim Silva to get the win throughout the week over Guida. Guida definitely got the pop, though, at the weigh-ins. He's a true fan favorite. He's got his cult following, and he's a savage. I mean, 38-23. The guy has been fighting forever, over 50 pro MMA fights. And even at 41, nearly 42, I still think he's a very tough out for Joaquim Silva. That wrestling game of Guida is always tricky to deal with. Now, nonetheless, I think Silva wins the fight. I feel like Silva could stun Guida on the feet. I think he threatens with the jiu-jitsu. The best asset for Clay is the wrestling. And I can see him landing takedowns, right? But can I see him doing damage? That's something I have a hard time seeing. So I think Clay might get a couple takedowns, but it's going to be hard to damage Joaquim Silva. And Silva on the mat is going to be live to lock up Clay in a submission. Now looking at the scales between these two, let's check these guys out on the scales. We got Joaquim Silva, who's jacked. Then we got Guida, who's still in shape, though. He's still ready to go. The caveman's ready to do it. Filled out Joaquim. He's got one of the freakiest frames at 155, dude. Holy shit. Then Clay, just in shape, ready to go. Whatever you expect from Clay is absolute savage. Like, and he just keeps on coming. That's Clay. That's what he's going to bring. Then we got the face-off. Joaquim Silva's just much larger than him. I think he's going to be a lot stronger. Joaquim might sub him up. I'm excited to look at these odds here for the props specifically. Money line is wide. Joaquim Silva's a minus 325 favorite with Clay Guida at plus 275 as a dog. Opened at minus 225. The line is swelled 100 points favoring Joaquim Silva because he seems like he's a confident call for a lot of people. Now, Silva to win by sub is plus 250. KO is plus 235. It's very hard to knock out Clay. I think sub at plus 250 or potentially decision for Silva at plus 250. I can see him locking up Clay with a sub, though. I'm going to pick sub. Post weigh-in sub call. Under 2.5 is minus 135. Joaquim, he's a potential parlay piece. He's in shape and ready to go. I do think he's got a real good chance of beating Clay. But Clay's not going to stop coming forward, and I think he's going to scrap. On the feet, could Silva catch him with a big punch? Yes. I feel like, would he follow up with just ground and pound, or would he look to strangle him? I would lean the submission. So I'm going to go sub Joaquim Silva. Next fight on the card, we got Sean Brady versus Kelvin Gastelum. If you're talking about a fight on this card where the scales were an essential piece to the puzzle, this is it. I have Kelvin Gastelum as my pick here. Also have him as the lock this week. I think he's going to pull this one out against Sean Brady. I see him stopping the wrestling and outboxing him. He made weight at 170, looking in very good shape. We'll check him out on the scale right now. Let's scroll down to our guy. Kelvin Gastelum in shape, even got some ab visibility and ready to go. Perfect weigh-in for him. And then there's Sean Brady. Looks great on the scale. He's got the ink of people beating each other up like a man strangling a jaguar. Then we look at the ceremonials. Obviously, Gastelum filled out a bit, as is Sean Brady. See them side by side. Gastelum looks like a 170-pounder. He doesn't look like he's coming down from 85. So it shows that he's been at the wrong weight class for a long time because of lack of quality diet. With a diet, he's on point. Like, I can imagine Kelvin Gastelum shining here and having a career-breaking performance. Like, I'm going to say Gastelum, he can put the hands together. I've been picking decision, though, all week, but he is live for the knockout. Looking at the odds, money line's your A side. Plus 105 for Kelvin Gastelum. Sean Brady, minus 125. I just go straight down the line with money line. Gastelum to win by a decision is plus 350. I'm calling this Gastelum decision officially. Gastelum by KO is plus 210. He could put the hands together and end up getting a knockout. It's not an impossible feat here. Just first fight back at 170. Could see a more calculated Gastelum outworking Brady in a hard 3 rounds, stopping his takedowns and outstriking him. So I'm going with Kelvin Gastelum plus money, underdog, calling him the lock this week too. Riding with KG. Let's get it, man. I think he's going to win. I'm happy he's on weight and in shape. Let's get this fight. Next fight on the card, we got Rob Font versus Deiveson Figueiredo. I have been picking Rob Font throughout the week, and I've said he'll knock out Deiveson Figueiredo. Now, obviously, the hype is because Deiveson is back at fight ready, is that going to be a substantial difference maker? Can his wrestling shine? And if he's taken down Rob Font, he can have a very successful night. There is Deiveson Figueiredo with the goggles on. I think those are swimming goggles that he's wearing. Very unique look for him here. And then we have on the other side, Rob Font in shape, ready to go. Figgy looks good up a weight class at 135 pounds, filled out nicely. Similar muscularity, though, to what we saw before at 125 pounds. But now at 135, less of a weight cut. Because that weight cut was killing him. He looks ripped, though. He looks in shape. There's Font. Font looks good and ready to go. Typical Font. Then there's the face-off. You see Font's a little taller. I just feel like Rob Font's hands are going to be on display. And I really see Figueiredo getting caught at the end of Rob Font's straight punches and getting put to sleep here. So I'm going to go Rob Font by knockout. I know Figgy's been training with Cejudo. His takedowns are going to be something that he's looking to go to. But he's taking on a bigger guy, up a weight class. I've never felt that Figgy would have great success against the upper echelon guys. So, Jesus, I thought there was water in that cup as it fell. It scared the hell out of me. But there wasn't. We're good. There's no spill over here. Minus 133 for Rob Font. Plus 113 for Deiveson Figueiredo. Give me Rob Font. I think he's beaten Goggles Figgy. Over 1.5 is -270. That over-under is dangerous. I feel like betting on this fight in general is a little dangerous because if Figgy is on the floor, I think he is live for submission. Something I'll mention, Figgy by sub plus 350, but my official prediction is Font by KO at plus 300. I think he can touch up Davis and Figueiredo, and I feel like we'll look to Corey Sandhagen out grappling Rob Font and then be like, oh, he's definitely going to get out grappled here by Davison. But no, not really. Different styles, different frames. The striking threat from Figgy, he sits on his punches and he throws like one hard big shot. Font's going to read those shots and touch him up from the outside. He's got a bit of a reach advantage and he knows how to use it. I'm going Rob Font for the knockout. He gets it done over Figueiredo. Even though I think as a fan, it would be exciting for Figgy to win and become a player at 135 pounds because there could be some sweet matchups for him. I just think reality is he's getting knocked out here. Next fight on the card is our co-main event of the evening. It's Jamey-Lyn Turner versus Bobby Green. I'm picking Bobby Green. I'm telling you out the gate. Bobby got into it with Arman Tsarukyan. He got pressed by Tsarukyan's whole damn crew. And Bobby Green held his ground one-on-one. He's an absolute savage mentality type of guy. Jamey-Lyn Turner, savage for taking this fight on very short notice. But everything that he's been doing since he took this fight has purely been about making weight. Now, he came in at 156. He failed on his first attempt. He made weight on his second attempt. But damn, was he looking slow on the way to the scale. Let's check this out. Let's check out Jamey-Lyn Turner on the scale. There's Bobby Green first, who looks jacked and ready to kill. There's Jamey-Lyn. He looks not in the best mood. I mean, can you blame him? Cut down to 155 on less than 2 weeks' notice. He's lean. He's thin. Looks a little flat, man. The muscles look flat here. That's a lot of water being drained out of his neck. Looks sucked in. I'm worried, man. I'm worried for Jamey-Lyn. Now, granted, I'm excited as a Bobby Green backer here, and especially with Bobby as a dog. There's Bobby, excited, amplified, and ready to go. Ton of energy. And then you got Jamey-Lyn Turner, who was more low energy on the other side. Respectable face-off, but like I feel like you can see the OG versus the young blood type of fight here. Bobby Green. Bobby Green's going to beat him up, man. Jamey-Lyn can take the first round because he's a great athlete and he's a slick striker. But second and third, Bobby takes over. I think Bobby Green probably gets it done by a decision. But Jamey-Lyn Turner, the chin has got to be something we're wondering about because of that hard weight cut. He could get knocked out here. Looking at the betting lines, money line Bobby Green is beautiful, plus 155. Jamey-Lyn Turner, minus 180, the favorite. Give me Bobby Green to win. Straight money line. That's your best side, guys. Now, knockout for Bobby Green is plus 450. Green by decision, plus 400. And then Green by submission is a D-Gen call, plus 1600, just simply because Dan Hooker had Jamey-Lyn in that rear naked choke at the end of the second round. And if you look, Bobby Green submitted Tony Ferguson, who's known for his jiu-jitsu, with an arm triangle. So just maybe plus 1600 might be like the degenerate prop call of the night. But Bobby Green's a great money line underdog. I think he can win the second and third round. I think he's live for a knockout. I think he beats up Jamey-Lyn Turner a bit from top position too. So we're going Bobby Green to get it done. I think like method of victory here, decision being the official call throughout the week is pretty live, but I think like a damaging decision. But he could knock Jamey-Lyn out. And I'm telling you, that's sub, it's D-Gen, but it's sitting there at plus 1600. If you got a tired Jamey-Lyn Turner, took this fight on very short notice, like Bobby to get the finish makes a lot of sense. Bobby by sub is there. Bobby money line though, that's the A side. He's going to get it done. Underdog in the co-main event. I think Bobby Green wins. Will then be on a 3-fight win streak. I don't know why, but it seems like with a win here, stars are aligning that maybe we can entertain Conor McGregor versus Bobby Green. Because why we jumping Conor in with the top 6 with Michael Chandler? Maybe you give him Bobby Green, who's in the top 15, who also would bring a lot of personality to that fight, and I'd be tuning in. So, idea for me would be Bobby Green, Conor. Bobby with the W. Main event of the evening. If you guys haven't yet, make sure you smash that like button. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. It's Dariush versus Arman Tsarukyan. I've been picking Arman Tsarukyan throughout the week. But I'll tell you something. He just makes it harder and harder to like him. After every fight week with Tsarukyan, I like him less. He's starting it with Bobby Green, talking about Green was talking trash, whatever was said on the internet, pulls up with his whole damn crew, gets in Bobby's face, and then like shoves his neck. Come on, man. Don't start with Bobby Green on the street. In a street fight, Bobby Green is very live for a knockout between these two. Maybe that's a fight they look to schedule down the line, is Tsarukyan and Bobby Green in a beef match after what happened yesterday. Nonetheless, I'm picking Arman Tsarukyan to beat Beneil Dariush here. I do think he can knock him out. I think he's a great athlete. He's a great wrestler too. And Dariush at this point, I mean, he's still a decent striker. He's a southpaw. He can wing some big shots, but let's be honest here, man. He's at a speed disadvantage. I think he has a very hard time out wrestling Arman, and Dariush is coming off a bad loss to Oliveira. Granted, it was 5 months ago now, but he got knocked out. He got flattened when a big shot landed, and I can see Tsarukyan getting a knockout in this fight too with Beneil. So I'm going Arman Tsarukyan to get it done and continue his ascent up the rankings here. Looking at the weigh-ins, we have Arman Tsarukyan with the shades on, looking kind of like Ozzy Osbourne with these shades here. Armenian Aussie. And then, holy shit, we got the King of the Grays here. We got Mr. Frost himself, Beneil Dariush, flexing it out on the scales. Arman's hype at the ceremonials. Dariush praiseworthy, hands up high. Then we got good stare down between these two. I see Tsarukyan winning this fight, guys. I think he can KO him. I'm going Tsarukyan knockout. I feel like he's going to beat Benny. Tsarukyan for the W. KO win. I see him out kickboxing him, man. I see him getting this W. We're going Tsarukyan. Looking at the odds for this fight, Arman Tsarukyan, he's a minus 286 favorite. Damn, he's a Y favorite. Plus 246 for Dariush. At open, it was minus 175. Tsarukyan, much more playable. Over 3.5, minus 130. I think we're going under 3.5 at plus 100. I'm calling a knockout, guys. I'm calling under 3.5, favoring Arman Tsarukyan. Knockout for Tsarukyan is plus 140. Something to note as well. I'm going Tsarukyan to get the finish. I think he can get the KO. I see him outstriking Benny and KOing him on the feet. Those kicks are nasty from Arman too, and he's got the speed advantage. I think Benny gets caught. Struggling to wrestle, struggling to find takedowns, stuck on the feet. I'm picking the side of Tsarukyan. In the main event, we're going Arman Tsarukyan KO win. But we're not done just yet, because now we got to talk about the post-weigh-in parlays, all right? So, where does my confidence align after the weigh-ins? Where do I want to throw the dinero down? So, we're looking through everything. I just want to make sure I have all the lines in front of me here. All right, let's see. I want to create something. I want to create something magical here. Lost to Melquizio cost the Steve Garcia fight. If you don't know, well, now you do. We went Joe Solecki. I want to make something different. I want to make something valuable late. Over 2.5 in the Horth and Hardy fight. Arman Tsarukyan plus 278. Bobby Green plus 860. I think this could hit, man. I think this could hit. Soriano to break it into the plus 1,000 range, plus 1143. If you don't like Solecki early on, you take him out. You do lose a lot of steam. You're at nearly plus 500, plus 492. Not as good, man. Not as good at all. Kelvin Gastelum plus 1,096. I had Solecki back in. Now I'm at plus 2,411. Damn, son. Soriano should definitely win this fight. And this fight definitely should go over. So, like, makes sense. Minus 130. That's very live. Adding in the side of Miesha Tate as a dog, if you want like some alternate type play, that's potential right there. Plus 297. You throw Reese in, plus 474. I see him breaking Cody Brundage. Wellington Turman, plus 772. Joaquim Silva, plus 1,041. Let's see here. What if we went Soriano, Joaquim, Gastelum, Bobby Green, Arman Tsarukyan. Plus 1,068 for me to kick the main card's ass here. Now, if you don't like the dog Gastelum, you're at plus 478. You don't like the dog Green, you're at only plus 128. So without the underdogs, you lose a ton of steam when you're playing these parlays. Ladies fight over, plus 205 for that. Yeah, it's pretty good, man. Pretty good calls. I'm thinking straight fighter attacks, though. I think Solecki's got a real good shot of winning. I see him getting it done as a dog. I think Gastelum can win as a dog, and Bobby Green just straight underdog attacks here. And then Tsarukyan up top, plus 1349. I think this one's live to hit too. Soriano then plus 1775. Starting to get into big territory. I don't love going too crazy with some parlays, but mixing in an underdog, like a Joe Solecki on the prelims, with even then you throw a Bellato, you got plus 160. You throw Wellington, Turman, and Bellato, plus 295. We just go after Jamey-Lyn, plus 219. I like Joe Solecki as a dog. I like Bobby Green as a dog. Gastelum and Joe Solecki, plus 324 with Soriano, plus 449. Or even if you don't like Solecki on the prelims, then we just go Gastelum, Soriano for a good main card call, plus 161. And if you add it in, Arman, plus 250 now. Bet it intelligently, bet it cautiously. But ultimately, I think we're live for some big winners here, man. That's just a straight sweep of the main card right there. Main card sweep action. Quite possible. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this week's weigh-in recap show. Definitely let me know what you thought of the picks in the comments down below. Throw me some of your favorite picks. And do you guys have any post-weigh-in pick flips? I did not, but I know some of you might. Thank you guys for tuning in. Smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Turn those post notifications on, and don't just leave them on personalized. Put them on all so you don't miss a video, because I got daily content dropping on the channel and you don't want to miss it. I will see you all for the full card fight companion, 4 p.m. Eastern time Saturday. So tune into the show. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace, everybody.